If they running their mouth, then they looking for trouble. Ran right up in the knowledge, now they back in the huddle. See, they know we can fight. New content every week. Me and Dr. Clyde keep on bringing the heat. Now they know that we're driven, and they know we ain't quitting. Yoshi and Dr. Winner keep on bringing the energy. Unity. See, they know we ain't stopping, and they know they got problems, and they ran out of options. If they know we got a problem, can't let it go unsolved. Bring back learning, Afrocentric history, we see tomorrow. Karma's karma, I say what I say, I hear underwater. Till I see I fall off, then I bring y'all up on note. I'm back up on my Clyde winners, 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 Clyde winners. Divine winters, Clyde winters, mind bender, Clyde winters. I'm Richard, ride with ya, master teacher, create masters, Clyde winters. Give respect to the elder, Clyde winters. I told them somebody else that living for me. Yeah. I told you somebody else that looking for me. I think there's somebody else that looking for me. I think there's somebody else that looking for me.
We have to live by God. We have to live by God. I have not done wrong. I have not robbed. I have not stolen. I have not framed. I have not told lies. I have not stolen food. I was not stolen. I have not fornicated with the fornicator. I have not caused anyone to weep. I have not dissembled. I have not transgressed. I have not discussed secrets. I have brought no lawsuits. I am not wrong. I am not struck kill. I am not transgressed the law. I have not been hunted. Except when I'm talking about on the song. I have not made extolling. I have not bragged. I have not cursed. I have not been violent. I have not confounded truth. I have not been impatient. I have not cursed against.
Dr. Winter's legacy is a testament to the power of knowledge and the unyielding spirit of exploration. His impact is felt worldwide, as he shares and enlightens at conferences, symposiums, and collaborative projects. His voice is a beacon in the academic world, challenging, inspiring, and always educating. His journey reminds us that the quest for knowledge is never-ending, and its impact is timeless. Dr. Winters teaches us to challenge the narratives and to learn with an open mind. As he always says, B1 is not a group, it's a lineage. Let his story inspire everybody to pursue knowledge relentlessly and to always seek the truth. Now let us welcome in the grandfather of research, the Trill OG himself, the Honorable Dr. Clyde Winters.
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? How's everybody doing? Welcome. Today is Thursday. It's 3 p.m. What does that mean? What happens at 3 p.m.? What happens at 3 p.m. is Black History Gems. Yes, Black History Gems. Thanks to the support of my Patreon members who provide me with the monies to be able to get the latest research and bring the latest research to you, I come every Thursday to talk about historical themes that you're not going to hear from the regular media. No. You're not going to hear these things because they don't want you to know about the significant and important role that Black people played in history. No, they don't want you to do that. Because when you know our important role in world history, you see, then it allows you to understand is that just because black people may be disrespected today, just because black people may be looked down upon today, this is just a moment in history. This has not always been our lot. No, no, no. We are the leaders. We are, in a sense, the founders of civilization in these Americas, and in fact, civilization in the world. And today, I want to come and talk to you about one of our historical experiences, one of the civilizations that Black people built in these in the Western Hemisphere. Yes, yes. You know, much is always talked about the world history, and they put world history in Asia because Asia is close to Europe, and since Asia is close to Europe, it allows Europeans, in a sense, to inject themselves into world history, even though they may not really have a history that can really be discussed, a history that's really important. But they're able, in a sense, to elbow their way into history. Yes, just like playing basketball, and you want to do that layup, boom, you elbow, brother, up, boom. Because the thing is, this is that's what Europeans do. Europeans do everything they can to hide and disguise our history. Europeans do everything they can to make us feel inferior, to make us feel that we're worthless, to make us feel that we don't deserve any respect. But we're not going to take that. We're not going to stand for that. And I like to provide the history in a sense to allow you to know what Black people have accomplished and what Black people have contributed to these United States. Yes, yes, yes. You know, and that's what I want to do today. I want to talk about, excuse me, I want to talk about a Mayan site called Rio Azul. And we're going to talk about that site because that site is very interesting and very important. So I want to talk about that site. But first, in a sense, let's get this groovy introduction.
Let the researcher do the research. Oh, no, no. I don't get a kick out of telling lies. Let the researcher do the research. Oh, no, no. Spent years studying the tides. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah, yeah. Black first, with strength we rise. Yeah. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah, yeah. Uniting truth and kill the lies. Let the researcher do the research. I'll learn to debunk my own craft. Respect is all that I have. Dr. Witness. I was sent here to finish my task, to become the greatest researcher, and that's who I am. Dr. Witness. Yeah. Na 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 na. Let the research gotta tell it lies. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah, yeah. Spent years studying the tides. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah, yeah. Black first, with strength we rise. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah, yeah. Uniting truth and kill the lies. Be one, be one, be one. Be one to win this fight.
We have to always
we must
remain
unite.
Black
Stand up
first.
for the righteous and let your skin shine bright. Be one, be one, be one. Be one, lessons whispered at night.
What up, though? What up, though? Again, in a sense, you know, we're going to talk about Rio Azul. So we're going to get there in just a couple of minutes. What I wanted to do is I wanted, in a sense, to make sure that I showed you that introductory tape so that we can be prepared for another exciting discussion of Black History gems, because this is a gem that we're going to discuss today. Yes, we're going to discuss in a sense an aspect of the Black Maya. They call the latter Mayan civilization, they call it Epi-Olmec, because much of the civilization is dependent upon the Olmec civilization. Yes, the Mayan civilization was just a continuation of the civilization that was created by the Mayan people, and we're going to discuss that in a little bit more in detail. So let's get started. Oh, there were many Black Mayas. The Popol Vuh gives us insight into Mayan history. The Popol Vuh, often translated as Book of the People, is the most significant and comprehensive collection of mythological and historical narratives of the Quiche Maya people of Guatemala. It is often considered the Maya equivalent of other great epic works like the Iliad, the Odyssey, or the Mahabharata. In the Popol Vuh, it is made clear that the ancestors of the Quiche Maya came from across the sea. We will use quotes from Ted Locke's translation of the Popol Vuh. We shall write about this now amid the preachings of God in Christendom. We shall bring it out because there is no longer a place to see it. A council book, a place to see. The light that came from beside the sea. The account of our place in the shadows, a place to see the dawn of life. Yes, yes, yes. The Maya, in a sense, recognized that their ancestors did not always live in Mexico, that many of them came from across the sea. The ancestors of Maya came from the east. The first people came from beside the sea, from the east. They came here in ancient times. When they died, they were very old. Yes, 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 but they left us a great civilization. Claim that the ancestors of the Maya came from the east is very important to the Maya. East of the Maya would be the Gulf region, where the Mandi Olmec people settled and founded the great Olmec civilization. Yes, 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 the great Olmec civilization. The Popol Vuh notes that, and I quote, they didn't know where they were going. They did this for a long time. When they were there in the grasslands, the black people, the white people, people of many faces, people of many languages, uncertain there at the edge of the sky. Yes, yes, yes. So this shows you in a sense that America has been occupied by numerous peoples, numerous populations, numerous tribes, and that it's nothing new for America to be such a multi-ethnically rich civilization today, because there's always been multi-ethnicity in these United States. The blacks introduced civilization among the Maya. And the Popol Vuh, it is noted that then the boys made fire with drill and roasted the bird over the fire. And they coated one of the birds with plaster. They put gypsum on it. And we can see this in the Mayan inscriptions. Yes, yes. Here we see, in a sense, two two Mayans, two Mayans that are making a fire. They're using the fire drill. And this, in a sense, shows that when we're reading these ancient documents, there's collateral evidence. Yes, there's collateral evidence that support the beauty, the significance, and in a sense, the glory that these people had. And the fact, in a sense, is that they wrote us information about their history, and they also left us not only, in a sense, oral and written traditions, they also left us pictorial evidence to show their great civilization. Yes, this great civilization of the Maya that's reproduced in the Popol Vuh. It is interesting to note that the boys drilled are depicted as blacks in the Dresden and Cotesianus codices. We can look at that picture on the left-hand side. It is interesting to note that the boys driven are depicted as blacks in the Dresden and the Trocatesianus codices. As a result, the color black and black individuals were recognized as important in Mayan culture. The major black gods were God Si, Shaman, and Exua. God Si is the personification of the concept of sacredness. It has the phonetic value of Ku or Chiang, deity or sacredness. The Mayan term for deity god is of the Mandi Olmec origin. Here we can see in a sense Mayan words and Mandi words. We see that the day for Mayan is Ken, and the day for Maya in Mandi is Kine. See that relationship? We find in a sense that among the Maya, their god was called Ka or Ku, sacred god. And we also know that the Mandi used the word ku, or sacred, or God, for their deity, for their creator. And so then again, there's just so much evidence pointing to this strong relationship between the Maya and the Mandi speaking people, you see. So it's there. But see, often in a sense, this doesn't mean, what you have to understand is that this doesn't mean in a sense that these Mandi had come, even though the evidence shows they came directly from Africa. But we know also that Mandi speaking people have been in North America for thousands of years, I say. And because of this, the great length and depth of their influence in these Americas, we know in a sense that they didn't have to come directly from Africa during the slave trade. Very important to remember. Again, here we can see some of the condescends, and you can see the god Ek. You can see the how this black god was represented in other Mayan texts. In the Popol Vuh, it is made clear that the ancestors of the Quiche Maya came from across the sea. We shall write about this now and amid the preaching of God in Christendom now. We shall bring it out because there is no longer a place to see it, a council book, a place to see the light that came from beside the sea, the account of our place in the shadows, a place to see the dawn of life. Yes, it all points to their origin, their coming to the Americas. The ancestors of Maya came from the east in the Popol Vuh. We read this, and it's very clear. The blacks introduced civilization among the Maya. In the Popol Vuh, it is noted that then the boys made the fire with drill and roasted the bird over the fire. And they roasted one of the birds with plaster. They put gypsum on it. Here we can see them drilling at the fire, drilling and making fire. The evidence is clear. Some of the Maya were black. It is important to understand that we see everything in terms of black and white today. But in a sense, we can also see that even in ancient times, there's a recognition of the diversity of the various ethnic groups that lived in the Americas. You know, some were considered the reds, the browns, and the blacks, you see. And this is very important. And so, yes, a lot of people say, come on, that's racist. It's racism to keep bringing up black and white. It's not in a sense as though this hasn't always been the case. People can look at each other, and people can look at each other and tell that they're different in terms of their ethnicity. So this is nothing new. So when people, in a sense, demand that we believe that in ancient times there was no concept of race, no concept of distinct ethnicity among the varied people, is utterly false. Because you can look in the mirror, you can look at your neighbor, and you can tell if there's an ethnic difference. You can tell if there's an ethnic difference between you and someone else. So let's not pretend that it doesn't exist. The Epi Olmec tomb seen at San Bartolo. Here we can see a figure from San Bartolo, and we also see the depiction of the ruler or the king. And again, we can see those negroid, characteristics. Look at this picture on the right hand side. Look at the nose. Look at the lips. Look at the picture. It is a classic picture of the black man. A very interesting. Some of the symbols from San Bartolo also have inscriptions on it. You know, when we read right to left, in this inscription down by the power tree, see Leofa. Indeed, the vivid image of the race is here. Then further down in front of the various patronage, the various persons carrying the various articles for the feast, we read Tagabe Fa, preserve the mystic order. The governor and the mystic order are one. Behind this, we see the inscription Laitali Kufe Tafe. This artisan, thou Tali, the governor, desires to be made sacred and breathing. It's very interesting that when you look at Mayan civilization, we see about several classes. We see the artisan class, we see the farming class, and we find in a sense that the elites usually came from the artistic class, the classes in a sense that was more reserved, and the class that was not necessarily working in the fields. This is King Tali. He is the dignitary buried in the San Bartolo pyramid. You can see his depiction on the left-hand side, sitting on his throne. And now you can see one of his attendants standing behind his throne. The Rio Azul Temple, located in the archaeological site of Rio Azul, the northeastern region of Guatemala, is one of the most significant Mayan structures, dating back to the early classic period, circa 250 to 600 of the Christian era. It is part of the larger Rio Azul city, which was a major political and economic center during its peak. That would have been back during that period. Situated in the Petén Basin, the site of Rio Azul was first discovered in the 1960s. But major excavation did not occur until the 1980s under the direction of Richard E. W. Adams of the University of Texas at San Antonio. The site's name, Rio Azul, translates to Blue River, referring to the waterway that runs nearby. Here you can see, Richard Adams working in the tomb, measuring some of the artifacts. As you can see, it's a very extensive and beautiful tomb, and it was a lot of interesting inscriptions are painted in this particular tomb. And I'm so happy that I was able to decipher the Mayan writing through a bilingual text. I found a Mayan bilingual text that was written in Mayan and the Mandi language, which was spoken by the Olmecs. And I was able, in a sense, to read many of these inscriptions. So a lot of this isn't hidden from me, at least. And I've written several books, and I hope that you'll look those books up where I talk about the Maya writing, I talk about the Olmec writing. Get these books so you can, in a sense, have an understanding of this civilization and why, it can be discussed. Again, these are some of the Rio Azul inscriptions. One of the most remarkable discoveries in the Rio Azul Temple is Tomb 1, which is richly decorated with murals and hieroglyphs. Key features include murals that depict scenes of the afterlife and ritual activities, and symbols of kingship. Hieroglyphs or inscriptions on the wall offer insights into Mayan cosmology, religious beliefs, and the legacy of rulers. There was artifacts found, such as pottery, jade, jewelry, and remnants of ritual offerings that included high-status burials, and I think they also found some chocolate there. The Rio Azul serves as an important testament to the Mayan ritual practices. The elaborate burials and sacred murals reveals the spiritual beliefs and afterlife concept of the Maya. The grandeur of the temple complex indicates Rio Azul's influence during the early classic period. Its construction showcases the advanced engineering skills of the Maya, including their use of astronomy and alignment and design. The temple's inscriptions add valuable data to the understanding of Mayan languages and political structures. Yes, because these inscriptions, these texts, give us more insight into the Mayan, in a sense, world, into that world that existed, over 2,000 years ago. And yet it was a vibrant world, a world of creativity, a world of knowledge and power. And today when we think of Mexico, we see all these white people, or we see the mestizos, the mixed people, and we say, damn, it's always been like that. No, Mexico has not always been like that. Mexico and Mexicans were predominantly black. It was a black civilization, you see. But over time, especially during the Spanish conquest, many of these black tribes were killed off, and they were helped in the genocide of these black tribes by many of the so-called quote unquote red Indian tribes that live in Mexico today. You see, so they joined forces, the blacks and the whites, to destroy these black civilizations, to destroy it. And so we want to always pretend to ourselves that black people and brown people, the so-called Latinos and Latinas, that there can be, in a sense, a brown and black a coalition. But I'm sorry to say that there's never been a brown and black coalition, because the fact is that black people are so creative. Black people, in a sense, are so, in a sense, knowledgeable and always trying to learn more about the world, that other peoples who surround us begin to become jealous. And this jealousy often leads to them to want to commit genocide. Yes, they want to commit genocide. They want to wipe us out. And that's what they did. Yes, that's what they did in Mexico. Here's the Rio Azul inscriptions. The murals inside Tomb 1 are particularly famous for their representation of the Mayan underworld, Xibalba. Here I can break down, see, and what we find is that the Mayan inscriptions are a combination of joined syllabic symbols, and these syllabic symbols are usually put together to form various words and various concepts. And these various symbols are joined together so that we can read the Mayan hieroglyphs. Because see, when we look at Mayan hieroglyphs, the Mayan hieroglyphs are made from various syllabic signs. For example, in this particular inscription, we find in the front "Pe Inde Tu," you see, and then behind that we see "Inde La Ni Batu." So "Pe Ki La Inde La Ni Batu" means the infinite key was gone to bed. So the person in the tomb was named Key. He is placed here. The ruler's soul and Ba in this place of rest. Ba is considered to be in a sense, the sacredness or the inner man of the particular person. Another inscription there is Kili Saki Setaka Segio. This means key, indeed, is suspended in propriety, realizing a state of propriety as a superior talisman, effective in providing one with virtue. Yes, yes. Many of these sites where these great people, because of their great character, because of their characters as great men, this allowed many people, in a sense, to visit these sites and feel that if they came to these sites where these great religious leaders, these great men of the past had lived, that they could get some of that sacredness, they could get some of that holiness from just visiting the sites. And that's why you have these pilgrimages of people going to various sites in ancient times. Here's another inscription called Kibota Tuku. Key's ghost is a sacred object. This abode is its possession, The name of the king, and this is a depiction of the Rio Azul king. The name of the king in Rio Azul tomb is Key. Above is an inscription describing this personage as sacred. Kibo Da Tuku. Translation: Key's ghost is as a sacred object. This abode is its possession. The tombs of Rio Azul, especially Tomb 1, come referred to as the chocolate tomb, contain some of the most detailed representations of the journey through Xibalba. The murals and artifacts provide a glimpse into the Maya vision of the afterlife and the perils one must face in the underworld. The murals depict the scene of the deceased journeys into Xibalba. Figures are shown navigating through water-filled pathways symbolizing the rivers that separate the living world from the underworld. There are representations of the supernatural beings that exhibit Xibalba, often illustrated with grotesque and unrealistic features. The walls are painted with imagery of jaguars, serpents, and skeletal figures, symbols of death and transition. The ritualistic ceremonies are depicted in the tomb murals, indicating preparations for the afterlife. Offerings to underworld gods are portrayed, emphasizing the Maya belief in appeasing these deities for a safe passage. Hieroglyphic inscriptions in the tomb narrate the deceased's journey and the trials faced in Xibalba. The Maya believed the soul would travel through 9 layers of the underworld, facing challenges orchestrated by the lords of Xibalba. Certain depictions reference key figures from the Popol Vuh at Rio Azul, such as 1 deaf, Hunkami, and 7 deaf, Vukamkami, who ruled over Xibalba. These rulers are shown in positions of authority, presiding over the trials of souls entering their domain. Vessels inscribed with hieroglyphs referencing cocoa, chocolate, were found, hinting at its ceremonial importance in the journey to Xibalba. The Maya believed that cocoa was a sacred substance that aided in the soul's passage through the underworld. Yes, yes, yes. Give me some of that hot chocolate. I like hot chocolate on cold days. The tomb's layout is designed to reflect the cyclical nature of death and rebirth, mirroring the Mayan belief in resurrection through the underworld journey. Water motifs represent the sacred river that the dead must cross, similar to the concept of the stein in Greek mythology. The Rio Azul Site is crucial for understanding how the Maya conceptualized the afterlife. Its murals are some of the earliest and most well-preserved depictions of Xibalba, providing archaeologists and historians with vivid imagery of how the ancient Maya envisioned the soul's passage through death and into the supernatural realms. This is the journey through Xibalba underworld depicted in Rio Azul. You know, there's the entrance to Xibalba, crossing the river of blood, crossing the river of pus, the trials of Xibalba, the house of darkness, the house of cold, the house of bats, the house of blades, the lords of Xibalba, the final judgment, rebirth on eternal stay. The journey through Xibalba is depicted in the murals and tombs of Rio Azul. You can check out that picture on the left-hand side. Take a moment and look at that. The journey includes the various trials, rivers, and challenges that souls must navigate before reaching the final judgment by the lords of Xibalba, leading to either rebirth or eternal stay in the underworld. The Rio Azul Site is crucial for understanding how the Maya conceptualized the afterlife. Its murals are some of the earliest and most well-preserved depictions of Xibalba, providing archaeologists and historians with vivid imagery of how the ancient Maya envisioned the soul's passage through death and into the supernatural realms. The tomb's layout is designed to reflect the cyclical nature of death and rebirth, mirroring the Maya belief in resurrection through the underworld journey. You see, the vessels in the sky with hieroglyphs deal with cocoa. The gateway to Xibalba lies hidden beneath the roots of the sacred Xibalba tree, its bark etched with the symbols of the ancestors. Here the soul steps forth, greeted by darkness, thick with whispers of the dead. Two blackened sentinels guard the entrance, their eyes gleaming with an ethereal light, signaling the beginning of the eternal journey. Enter if you dare, for beyond this threshold lies the heart of shadow. Whisper the sentinels in unison, their voices like wind through hollow bones. The path is winding and treacherous, spiraling downward through layers of forgotten stone. Flickers of distant light flash, vanishing as swiftly as they appear. The air is heavy with the scent of dead earth and burnt offerings. The first trial emerges, the river of blood. Its waters churn crimson, warm with viscous, carrying the echoes of sacrifice. The spirits wade cautiously, guided by chants murmured by those who came before. For those unprepared, the current pulls them down, straining their souls with the weight of unresolved transgressions. Quote, only the unburdened may cross unscathed, echoes a voice from the depths. The rest shall drown in memory. Beyond the sanguine tide lies the river of pus, a mire of decay and corruption. The air hangs heavy with the stench of mortality, and spectral hands reach from the depths, clutching those who falter. Only the pure of heart, protected by sacred glyphs, may pass unscathed. Cleanse your spirit or be devoured by the filth of the living, warns the river's guardian, a wrath draped in shadow. The soul now faces the famed trials of Xibalba, a series of challenges designed to test one's spirit and resolve. Here illusions craft mirages of fear and temptation, while shadows of past deeds materialize to haunt the unworthy. Ancient glyphs carved into the tomb walls of Rio Azul whisper the secrets of survival. Hold true to your essence, for Xibalba feeds on doubt. Yes, yes. The murals inside the Rio Azul temple, especially in Tomb 1, are some of the finest examples of early classic Maya artistry. They are not merely decorative, but serve as deeply symbolic narratives that reflect the religious beliefs, cosmological understanding, and ritual practices of the Maya. The murals prominently feature scenes associated with Xibalba, the Maya underworld, which is believed to be a dark and treacherous realm where the dead must journey through various trials. Symbolic imagery such as serpents, jaguars, and skeletal figures are pervaded, symbolizing death, rebirth, and the cyclical nature of life. This visual storytelling serves as a guide for the soul of the deceased, providing them with a spiritual roadmap to navigate the afterworld. Rio Azul, including its temple complex, was abandoned around 530 in the Christian era during the decline of early classic Maya. Archaeological evidence suggests warfare and shifting trade routes may have contributed to its downfall. Yes, yes, yes. This is a very important understanding. And what I'm trying to tell you is this: is that we sometimes fool ourselves, and the reason that we fool ourselves is that we fail to realize, in a sense, that knowledge is power. Not only is knowledge power, but knowledge is meant for you to not to just stay stagnant. It's meant for you to grow. It's meant for you to understand, in a sense, the superiority of knowledge over ignorance. Yes, yes, yes. There is a superiority of knowledge over ignorance. And that's what it's about. You, me, we all have to go through a process of trying to find the truth. And it's through realizing the truth, it's by realizing the path of righteousness, it's by moving forward, it's by moving forward and sharing with others the love of mankind, the love of our history, the realization in the sense that we are not just individuals, we are a group. We are people who are gifted. We are people who are here, in a sense, to share with the rest of the world knowledge, power, and influence. And this influence, this knowledge, and this power comes from knowing your history, knowing who you are, where you came from, and what you're capable of. And that's what we learn from history every day. That's why I come to you every Thursday with Black History Gems. I come to you with Black History Gems to help you to understand the true history of our existence. I come to you every week with Black History Gems to share with you the knowledge and the power that only comes from knowing who you are, what you are, and where you're going. Thank you for joining me today for another edition of Black History Gems. God willing, I'll be with you next week. So please join me. Please come and join me and understand, in a sense, that it's through our sharing knowledge and power that we will be, in a sense, the greatest influences and survivors of this great world.
If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. Vampires, they prey on your fears, so them not stay away. Vampires, they prey on your fears, control your mind, they feel. Don't let them take your energy. Don't let them suck your control your mind, they feel. Distraction away from you. I am you, and you control your mind, they feel. Don't let them take your energy. Don't let them suck your energy. They feel distraction away from me. I am you, and you are me. If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. Nobody but yourself. Don't follow. I said nobody but yourself. Don't follow. Nobody but yourself. Don't follow yourself. Nobody. Yourself. Nobody but yourself.
Let the researcher do the research. Yes, let the researcher do the research. Dr. Clyde Winters, let him do the research. We need more researchers like Dr. Clyde Winters. Yes, yes, yes. Let the researcher do the research. Yes, we don't understand that it takes people who want to do research to be able, in a sense, to tell us our history. Yes, many people have taken my course, The Afrocentric Researcher. You can take it too. All you got to do is join. But if you don't, in a sense, join, understand that it's through your hard work, through your persistence, that you can become a researcher. Yes, yes, yes. Let the researcher do the researcher. You know what? I've written some books that can help you to be a researcher. Those books are Pathfinder, Clyde Winter's In Search of the Roots of Afrocentric Studies. Yes, yes, this book is an important book. It'll help you learn all about your history. My other book is Afrocentric Researcher by Dr. Clyde Winters. This book, in a sense, is the most important book that you will find. What makes this book important is that the Afrocentric Researcher provides you with a course, yes, provides you with a course outline that tells you all the things you do to be a great researcher. Yes, get these books, the Afrocentric Researcher, and in a sense, get my book, Pathfinder. These books are the books you need to be successful, the books that will make you a great researcher. Get these books, but let the researcher do the research, but you can be the researcher too. Our identity and our culture as Black foundational Americans. Yes, yes. Wars between Black Indians and whites were manufactured to produce Black slaves for whites. The English, the French, and the Dutch provided the Native Americans with guns, rum, and cheap goods to purchase Native American Indian slaves. Between 1670 and 1720, many Black Native Americans were enslaved. The Black Native Americans were sold into slavery throughout the 13 colonies, Mississippi Valley, Canada, and the British West Indies. The majority of Black Native Americans sold into slavery by whites and Indians. Slave traders were the Choctaw, the Yamasee, and other Carolina tribes. Yes, yes. Many of these tribes, like the Mandi, Mandinga, many of these tribes, we've lost their names. And their names have been lost to history because of the fact, in a sense, that when the European came, as he conquered these Black Indians, he just made them slaves. And so over time, in a sense, their nations disappeared. Over time, in a sense, their history wasn't recorded. Over time, they were even able to deny that Aboriginal Blacks even existed in America. They wanted to give our Aboriginal ancestors gifts. And the only problem with the gifts that they gave us was that often these blankets that they gave us carried smallpox. Yes, diseases. They also, in a sense, gave us another gift, rum, fire water. And this rum caused an addiction among us. And in a sense, it led to a demand for guns because it incentivized Indian slave trading. Yes, the first slaves sold in America were Indians, Black Indians, selling other Black Indians to Europeans to work on their cotton, not on their cotton plantations, their tobacco plantations, their rice plantations. Yes, yes, yes. We sold each other over here, just like in Africa, because of the fact that we failed to understand that we are one, we are one, we are one. We should be united based upon our identity and our culture as Black foundational Americans. Yes, yes. Reparations, baby, reparations. We deserve reparations. We deserve reparations like yesterday, not just today. No, not just today. We deserve our reparations. Give us our money, baby. Cut the check.
Cut the check, Black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less, remain on code, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. Cut the check, Black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less, remain on code, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for.
The only thing that can save you is be one, be one, be one. To fight Cage, you must stay Black first.